We no longer have to limit ourselves to only live streaming from inside of our offices. Now we can live stream on the go. There are a couple of best practices we need to talk about to make sure people can see and hear you and understand what you're doing while you're live streaming on location. So whether you're using your laptop at a cafe or you've got your mobile device while you're doing something in town, we're going to break down 5 things you need to be aware of and make sure that you're really paying attention to and leveraging while you're doing your live streams out and about. Now you want to make sure that you're able to be seen on your live stream, so you're going to need some lighting. So we're always actively looking for light sources before we set up for our live stream. Now if you can help it, you want to make sure that you've got a really good strong light source because that goes into making sure your feed is not pixelated and you don't have any issues with that. So look for really good strong natural light or artificial light. Now I do recommend if you're at a cafe or you're out and about, you are sitting somewhere near a window, you want that natural light. And best practices says you don't want it on one side because it's going to cast one side in shadows and one side to be really bright, but just work with it the best that you can. Now if you're out and about and you're in the sunlight, you're going to look for open shade. You do not want to be in direct sunlight because that's going to lead to harsh shadows, especially under your eyes, and we don't want to look like we're getting older just because of those shadows. So we want to make sure we are looking for open shade. So stand by a wall, be under a tree, somewhere where we still have that light around us, that ambient light, but is not going to interfere with really harsh shadows. Now you can also use artificial light. So if you're in a building somewhere where you're on location, look for a light source, and you want to make sure that you check out the videos I'm linking down below because we talk all about light sources and everything you need to know. We're not going to chat about it here, but it's linked in the video below. And you can also, pro tip, bring your cordless ring light with you if it's somewhere that you can actually bring it. So if you need to check beforehand, if you need to ask the cafe owner if that's okay, or if you're taking it out into public where you just have the ability to do that, you've got a cordless ring light that lasts up to 70 minutes before it starts to fade and you're ready to go. I've linked that and a tutorial on how to use it down below as well. But your goal here is to make sure that you are visibly seen on your live stream. So look for open natural light or get that artificial light that is going to help you out, white based, not yellow based, for best results. Now chances are while you're out and about, you're gonna come up against some noise interference, especially if you are in a building, if you're around other people, if you're outside. There's a lot of things going on, from people talking to birds chirping to traffic passing by, and that can make it a little bit hard to be heard on your live stream, which is why I always recommend you have your earbuds ready to go. You are going to sync these up to your desktop or your laptop and your phone, whatever you happen to be using, and that is going to allow you to speak and to hear whatever you need. It's going to block out some of that extra audio, and you will have that ability to then communicate with your people much more clearly because they're going to be able to hear you, because that microphone built in is right here next to your face and it's picking up your audio above the ambient noise. So if you want to be heard really well, you're going to grab those earbuds and have that either plugged in if it's corded and tethered, or you're going to wirelessly attach them before you go live so that people can easily hear you when you are live streaming. Bonus pro tip here. There are actually some live streaming platforms that reduce ambient noise. It's built into their systems to kind of cancel out and cut out some of that unnecessary background noise. They're going to focus in on your audio and reduce the extra audio. So this is actually something they do inside of Restream. You can check that out down below. That's a great resource for making sure that you are really easily heard on your live streams, and that's something you can take advantage of if you want. Then I've got a 30-day free trial for you. By the way, PS, you're welcome. You can check that out down below for more information on Restream and how to use it. Make sure you're avoiding ambient music if at all possible. Now, I know this can be a little hard if you're going into a cafe or you're at a store or you're at some type of event, because a lot of people play that ambient music. It's part of the experience. It's part of the buying process, and it's really hard to avoid that in certain cases. But if you can get away from it or get as far away from it as possible, that's going to work to your benefit. Certain platforms like Facebook or Instagram or even YouTube are listening for copyrighted music or music that could potentially be copyrighted, and they will kick you off your live stream and ask questions later. Now, this doesn't happen every single time, but you really want to make sure you're protecting your content as best as possible. So that's going to mean avoiding that music. Even if it's your own music, even if you're playing it, even if somebody's singing it, it could potentially lead to you getting kicked off of air. And you don't always know you've been kicked off air. I have definitely had live streams that I've been kicked off for whatever reason, and I didn't know until someone texted me and told me I was no longer on air. So you want to make sure that you're really protecting the content you're creating by not doing anything that could potentially get you kicked off of your platform. That said, we know that ambient music happens. The platform platforms know that ambient music happens, and a lot of times you can appeal it if you get a strike against your account, but you want to make sure that you're avoiding it if at all possible, because that is going to lead to a better user experience for you and for the people viewing you on the platform. Always make sure that you check your Wi-Fi connection before you live stream. You don't want to jump into a conversation with your fans and be super choppy or have your audio glitch and people not be able to see or hear you, or worse, get kicked off of your live stream in the middle of a sentence. Always check your Wi-Fi connection. So go into the Wi-Fi settings in your computer or in your phone and make sure that it works. If you're not positive, you do have the ability to FaceTime your friend or give your friend a video call and just see if it's pixelated and choppy for them. If it is, that could be a problem. And maybe you need to change your locations, get closer to the Wi-Fi router, whatever it happens to be. Now, if you're on your phone, of course you can change over to your cellular data, and that just really comes down to what you want to do and best practices for yourself and for using your different devices. So make sure you check your Wi-Fi before you go live so that you don't have any issues going live. And if you're on something like Instagram or TikTok and it's struggling to find that connection, move locations. Don't let it just pick up whatever weak Wi-Fi it can find. You want to make sure that it is strong. So if it's saying we're having some trouble, stop that and go find somewhere else to try it again to make sure that you've got at least a connection strong enough to be able to communicate with people, with them being able to hear you and mostly see you during your live streams. P.S. I do have free extended trials of both Restream and be.live linked down below for you, so you can see which is going to be the best platform for you to live stream through while you're out on the go or you're inside of your office. I've got bonuses down there for you as well, so check out the caption. Now, if you happen to be live streaming and showing something off, so it's not just you speaking direct to camera, but you're actually turning your camera around and showing them an event, or you're showing them a location, don't just show them the thing. Make sure you're narrating it. People need to know what they're looking at. Remember, if people are jumping into a live stream with you, they expect to see you and communicate with you. So if they jump on and all of a sudden they're seeing the pretty waterfall over there and they don't know why, they're not going to stick around. So you actually need to actively narrate everything that you're doing, everything that they're seeing. You can reach around and point to things, and make sure that you are frequently flipping that camera back to face you. Your goal here is to show your face as much as possible and make sure you stay in communication so they know why it's a valuable live stream. If you're wasting their time, they're not going to come back to future live streams. So this is an opportunity to have a conversation with them, and you don't necessarily have to be on camera the entire time. You don't necessarily need to hold your phone and like show the cool thing over your shoulder. You can turn it around and show solely that. But make sure that you're doing it sparingly and that you are actively showing your face and having those conversations with people so that they know they're speaking to you and why they're tuning in and why you're showing that particular footage to them while you're on air. Live streaming on location is a fairly easy process, and I do recommend that you actually test things out before you leave your studio. So if you're going to be using a mobile app like be.live, or you're going to be streaming through your desktop through Restream, you want to make sure that you know where the buttons are, how it all works, and make sure that you don't need to be tethered to your studio and you feel comfortable enough doing this while you're out and about on location. Now, if you have questions on how to level up your live streaming, you can head over to livestreamactionplan.com and drop your questions down below here on this video, because I am answering your live streaming questions to help you elevate your brand and business and foster communication in your communities to make sure you're making more sales and getting better clients to work with you through your live streaming process. And if you need a full year of done with you live streams, I've got those over on livestreamactionplan.com. We're gearing up for our latest launch. I'm so excited for the really cool things that we've added into the program, and I can't wait for you to join us. I'll keep you posted on when doors are open on that, but we want to make sure that we are leveling up your live streaming. So get those questions down below, hit the subscribe and notification bell. We're dropping videos twice a week for you. We're making sure that you are getting the best live streaming experience possible. We're showing you tutorials on how to do things. We're testing out new programs for you, and we're giving you the opportunity to level up whether or not you are growing your tech, you're learning the new buttons, you are leveling up in the content that you're putting out there. We are here to help at livestreamactionplan.com. I'll see you in the next video as we continue to level up your live streaming.